Ahoy, mateys! 'Tis I, Captain Horatio Honeyflakes, and I be here to tell you about me newest crowdfunding campaign. The adventures continue with me crew, the Mighty Mascots, in issues 7, 8, and 9. Just focus your looking glass on the amazing artwork of Ian Warianto and Anton Bondi. Me crew, the Mighty Mascots, are up against some scurvy scallywags, and we need ye help to defeat them. There be a bounty of exclusive treasure, only available here, where X marks the spot. I spy a huge coffer of bonuses and stretch goals on the horizon. Then please consider pledging so we can continue these adventures with the weirdest crew I ever had the pleasure of sailing with. Mascots Unleashed!
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Indie Comics Relay. I'm your host, Keith Gleason, creator of the Mighty Mascots. With me, as always, Johnny C., creator of Surrounded by Death and Sartana. What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? How's it going?
Good, man. Good. I mentioned last week when we had Nerds of the Round on, I thought we were back in our normal rotation, but I was totally wrong. I kind of I'm like a week by week kind of guy,
Yeah, so, I'm always down for one more.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm hoping after this week we'll finally be in that rotation back to normal, and I kind of have to now because I'm back full time at my job, and I gotta kind of. There's only a certain amount of time you can put into other things besides your comics,
Yeah, absolutely.
You know how it is. You're running.
Dividing time is like so impossible, and it's funny too because some people will text me and not to disparage them or make it sound like they have a lot of time on their hands. You know what I mean? And it's like I forget what it's like to have a lot of time on my hands because at any given point in the day, there's something I need to be doing, whether it's writing, promoting, upkeep on social media. That's why a lot of my social media I let fall behind because it's
like
just
the last
so
thing.
Hard.
Yeah,
it's the last thing I care about in terms of getting the comic work done first and all that stuff. And the sad part is I lose touch with good friends that way too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I don't. Dude, I totally hear you. It's like I sometimes envy the guys I work with. There was a guy, guy I love to talk to about movies and shows at work, and he's like, "Oh yeah, last night I watched this, and this, and this," and he's rattling off shows. You must have sat in front of that TV for 6 hours last night, and I'm like,
when there's time to do that, I love that.
You know what I mean? I was so jealous, dude. It was it's like my TV viewing has gone a little down, but I don't know. I mean, I got home tonight 6:30 or so, and I watched a couple shows before we came live. So it's I'm finding little time, to do stuff here and there,
Yeah,
and with the YouTube stuff,
you got to feed that. You got to feed your creativity with the things that you enjoy to watch, and
you got to have some downtime, So it's a one of those balances, But
I still have to read the Department of Truth books you got me from last.
Oh my god! Really? Wow!
You should see my stack over here, dude. It's kind of embarrassing. I wouldn't want to show anybody, but I got a really big stack of stuff of reading material. You know
what's funny too about comic reading and that kind of stuff, though. Real quick is I find more time to read physical. If I have a physical comic. But you give me a digital comic and forget it. It might be years before I even look at it.
It's the because we grew up in an age of tangible media, Keith.
Yeah,
we'd buy a CD, we'd flip through the book. We grew up reading physical comics, so that's one thing. You know what I mean? We're connected that way. Where you have to think there's probably generations that are well after us, and where they're totally common with digital, and to pick up a book would feel awkward to them, right?
Yeah, that's true. And I think part of it's like when I go on the computer, I think like the last thing I want to do is read a comic. It's weird, like I'm looking, checking email, I'm doing social media, I'm doing all that kind of stuff, which I guess is kind of reading, but the last thing I do is pull up a comic. I don't know. It's weird.
Recreational reading, like the AXE line in the Marvel series. Like I'm dying to read it, but I just haven't had the time to. It's crazy.
Yeah, no, I hear you, man. It's the curse of being creative,
I guess. Well, we also like to spend our Wednesday nights with the audience. So.
Yes.
So
well, that's the thing with YouTube. I was gonna say, like, a couple of years ago when the channel was just starting, I was doing a couple videos a week, a video and then also our live streams. And now it's like I'm up to 3. So it's like it's either we have the live stream on Wednesday, which is going to move to Tuesday in the new year, which I should keep reminding people that.
Yeah.
I mean, because I'm sick of competing with stuff. Like tonight, like I just found out Pete's live tonight, and I'm like, oh man. So I'm like, we're fighting for the same audience there in a lot of ways.
Right.
So but the thing that sucks is there's not a good night to move to. Like last week, like I said, when we moved to Tuesdays, we'll be fighting with the Nerds of the Round and a few other, and it's like, and George and Catch the Craze and all those guys.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of which, I was just going to unbox this real quick as we're talking.
What do you got there, man?
Big shout out to our guy Sam Vera.
Oh, nice.
Yep. There's issue 3 of his book.
So he's already going into issue 4, huh?
He's launching issue 4 shortly. Like, this guy's got hustle, and I love that. And like, I feel like he's at where I wanted to be now, but I'm so tired.
Well, the thing is I love those guys too, and I've only gotten the first one, so now I gotta, next time he launches, I'm gonna have to get the other 2 that I missed. It's like, it's nuts. I can't even keep up with
you're
crowdfunders either,
Yeah, well, you're the type of backer that we love, the one that has to get 1
just
through
to get
4,
the catch-up
tier.
I mean? Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the catch-up tier. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, it's so true. Speaking of which, what's the update on your campaign? Is it almost? I know the lettering will probably be done this weekend. I'll finally do all your edits and everything.
Yep. So that short, once it's done, I get it printed out, and then that's the second to last tier that needs to be fulfilled. The only thing left that has to be fulfilled is like a premium box set, which I'm still assembling. They're 3 people and they're all friends, so it's okay. Like I'm not too worried about that. It's just the San Diego cover was extremely delayed because, again, I promised a new short. I was very grateful to have you work on it, Keith. What do you think about it?
I thought that it was 9 pages, right? I thought it was a lot of fun, dude. Like, you found I think you being a part of a lot of these anthologies, I think you're really solid now at delivering a short story, like an 8-page or a 9-pager. I really liked it. I really think it's sad that it's just going to be a bonus thing, right? Or are you going to reprint that for other people to read?
That will go into the back of the trade paperback.
Okay.
Once that comes out, and that'll be after 4 issues.
Okay.
But right now, it's going to go for the San Diego exclusive that people backed on the campaign.
Gotcha.
And I'll probably release it digitally.
Okay.
But on Global
maybe
Comics,
in a year or something, you could probably do it as a bonus thing or something, because it's good enough that I think the fans would really like it, So people that already bought 1 and 2 may want this 9-page on its own, Something to think about, like make it exclusive now, but in a year maybe get a new cover commissioned and put it out as like a one-shot or like a side story or something,
I was thinking like an ash can or something.
Yeah, maybe even that would be good, But yeah, it's great, man. It was a lot of fun to read, and I think it could be like one of the little funniest moments in the series, actually, with the whole mime and everything.
Yeah.
It comes out of left field, and it's really funny the way it's told, And it's great, man. I had a great blast putting the effects to that. And
dude, I love your work on it. I can't wait for people to check it out.
Yeah, it's gonna be great. So yeah, everyone who backed that, definitely look out for that, and then look for it. If you already have the issues, buy the trade, and just to get this this awesome 9-page story, is really really worthwhile. I think. Thanks, it just complements the entire series. I think So
it's like a nice alternate ending kind of thing. Like
definitely. It doesn't alter anything, and it just adds a little more depth and adds a little more funny stuff to it.
Even really if you don't read it, like you can go on forward.
Yes, but if you're a completist, you'll want it.
For sure.
So it's great. Yeah, so I can't wait. So everybody who ordered that, you're in for a treat when that finally comes out.
And where are we at with the Mighty Mascots campaign?
Yeah, let me. I was just about. You're reading my mind tonight. I was gonna pull that up.
Great minds think alike.
It's true. You know what I'm happy about is like I'm still promoting this. But I'm glad that the campaign was kind of officially over, so I could slow down with the promos. Because you know how it is when you're on Twitter. It's like every day you're releasing something, you feel like you're spamming everybody, and it's like
that's
on top
the worst
of that,
part about it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that, and on the top of that, I'm spamming people with the YouTube stuff and anything else that I have coming out, and it's like I always feels like I'm being too much.
That's why people should sign up for your newsletter. It covers everything.
Yeah. That I put it on the websites now. So if you go to the websites, like either Plastic City or Reckless Sidekick, it'll have a pop-up where you can sign up for the newsletter. It's doing okay. Like you should. I know you don't want more stuff, but you should consider maybe doing one down the road, because even if it's just a short one, it does cut through the noise and goes to people. Like I hear from people about it all the time. So something to think about, Johnny, for promoting and stuff,
Yeah.
I don't know. I was totally against doing one for the longest time. And then when I finally caved and did it, I see the benefit in it now, so
yeah, for sure.
I don't know.
It's just what I hear is one more thing I have to factor into my schedule.
Yeah, right. Right. That's the problem. That's why when I do this stuff, I make sure it's realistic. Like you're only getting one of these from me a month. Like, I cannot do like a weekly newsletter, or you know what I mean.
So scheduling was actually in the back of my mind for our guest tonight, because just scrolling through their YouTube page, there is a lot going on there, and I can't wait to talk to him a little bit more.
Yeah, definitely. Jason's a cool dude. I've been on the show a few times, but before we actually, the campaign's doing okay. If you guys haven't backed it, check it out. We are for the progress. We are just about done issue 8. Nice. As far as pencils and inks go, I have about 8 pages colored, none lettered yet. I'm hoping to get to some maybe Sundays, along with the edits I got to do for you. And then issue 7's pretty much done. I have Amy doing a couple background things, fixing some things in the art that I don't like. But issue 9 is about to start. And once I'm hoping to be done everything by January, February.
Are we getting temporary tattoos yet or no?
We might, if we can get to 10 grand. If I could get the toys in between now and say like February and have them ready, I might throw them on the campaign and kind of energize it a little bit. And that might as an add-on, as like a special thing, buy this and it'll ship out now kind of thing, because Pete does that a lot with his King Cryptid. I notice he does like a special every time there's a full moon, which is kind of like a good marketing. That's kind of neat. Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe do something not like that, but like add a special here and there, But yeah, if we get over to 10 grand before I close this thing down, they'll definitely do the temporary tattoos, So it's something to think about, everybody.
Can't wait. I hope we get there.
Yeah, definitely. We're definitely going to try, man. And then before we bring tonight's guest in, I just want to say hello to the audience in here tonight.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
As always, we got Ara joining us. What's
Ara,
up, buddy?
thank you for
Good
being
to
here,
see you,
man.
Let me see. We got, of course, my wife, Amy's Birdhouse. Johnny's in here, and
I'm
Jason's in here.
I was in Boxborough over the weekend. Lord help me.
Oh God, yeah, I want to talk about that too, real quick before we bring Jason in. Amy said, "Ready for another great show with our boys."
Thank you, Amy.
Johnny C. Harry with us. I binged Only Murders in the Building and Black Adam over the weekend.
I watched Black Adam over the weekend too. Over the break, actually.
What'd you think of it? Like, I thought, okay, it's not great, but he's awesome in it. Like, he's a perfect Black Adam, which I knew he would be, and he plays it just right, where he's just, F everybody, I'm gonna kill whoever I want, whatever. Get out of my country, that kind of thing. But I think the JSA was just, every one of them was like ripped off from a Marvel character. Like Adam Smasher was just Ant-Man. You know what I mean? Like, it was they felt like they were kind of like lame a little bit, But what was your thought?
The effect on, was it Cyclone?
Yes.
Her effect, like, I thought that was cool. That was something I kind of hadn't seen in a Marvel movie yet. So I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. Yeah. I didn't like the way it ended with that statement he made in smashing the throne. Spoiler alert, everybody. Not that it's a really big spoiler or anything, but I feel like that counterbalances the character himself a little bit. You know what I mean? Because I see him almost kind of like a Dr. Doom in a way. You know what I mean?
Kind of with a temper, like I always think like Dr. Doom can, like, he may be mad, but he can kind of compose himself, Like, he never lets himself lose it. Well, sometimes
right. Yeah,
it's more of an arrogance, like, with Doom, But yeah, I mean, Black Adam is definitely that kind of character. Like, I like this.
Basically, it was tied to Shazam, so clearly there's tying things there, where I thought was cool.
Yeah, it did well enough, I think, that they may do another one, but I don't know.
I'm sure they will. It was just a self-righteous thing for The Rock to be able to, look cool for 2 hours. You know what I mean? So,
well, that's exactly it. You didn't get a scratch on him, I don't think, the entire movie.
Right? But there's dangers of having characters that powerful guide your story.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
They did it well with this.
Well, they ended it with the after credit scene, where it's like, I want to see that movie,
Yeah, that would be interesting.
That would be cool. But yeah, I don't know. Overall, it was okay. I don't think I'd ever watch it again. And I'm just hoping James Gunn can kind of come in and we'll do some stuff with this DC universe, because I think it's a mess. There's some stuff that's good
for the job.
Yeah, I think so too. And then let's see. So those are pretty much all the comments.
Jared Brown, what's up?
What's up? Johnny's better video feed. Did I miss
it? Yeah, because I'm using a laptop.
Oh, okay.
That's nice. Why I'm using my work laptop for this feed right now. So if I look good, it's because of that.
Nice.
It's not just my handsome looks.
Harry said you're gone all Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oh, and hey, Jared, what's up, man? And what do you say? Maybe for a darker Mighty Mascots comics, you can introduce a serial killer. I've heard that before.
Specifically, kill off serial mascots.
Yeah, he's so damn handsome, says Jared. Awesome. All right, yeah. So with our introduction for our guest tonight, Jason Hunt's great guy. They have a YouTube channel, Sci-Fi for Me. I've been on a couple times, mostly around my campaigns. Like I did one, I did an interview with them with the first campaign a couple of years ago, and then with this newest one, I think I was on the show 3-4 months ago, and I said, hey, come on our show and promote. I'd love to hear the origins of sci-fi for me. So Jason Hunt, he's a great guy. So without further ado, let's bring him into the show. Hello, Jason. Look at this. He's like in Command Central here. Look at this.
I'm coming to you from the bunker.
The bunker.
Yes.
I love it.
Love it.
I love it. This looks like every science fiction movie you know, like where like a missile's going to be launched, or you know,
he's got the Batman Command Center, which I've always wanted.
It's my Bat
I've
cave.
always wanted the triple monitors. Like you're living the dream, man.
Well, and we're getting Mrs. Boss's station put together over there as well. She's got a new screen incorporated in her stuff too. So yeah,
it's camera angles and stuff. That is fantastic.
This is everything that I have to look at every time we're on here doing stuff. God. So yeah, I stay.
That's cool.
I love the lasers going around the edges.
Yeah.
There. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So in the private chat, I have put the 2 links to the 2 different interviews that I've done with Keith. So if you guys want to have it for reference, that way people can take a look.
Let me share those just in case.
And they're in order. The first one is the first interview we did. The second one is the second interview. So
that's perfect.
So those are out there.
And then and I would recommend I'll share the channel link as well later too. I think people should go over and subscribe to you if they haven't already. Yeah.
It's very much from so I got my first taste today, and as I was scrolling through, it was very much built on checking in daily, that kind of format, which I love. I love that you kind of lay things. I mean, you even have weather reports. That is really cool, man. I love that about that page. And if you're a Comic-Con goer, that's a handy resource.
Yeah, and that's something we started doing a long while ago. Basically, I looked around. I was like, well, how do we add value? How do we do something that nobody else is doing? And I kind of took a look around and said, well, if we're treating this as a regular broadcast channel, then your news program would have the weather. And, we would do this weekly news thing. I was like, well, we need a weather. So I got with a meteorologist buddy of mine, and we started doing them. And it's more simplified now. Mrs. Boss does the graphics for it. And we just basically go through the various different weather sites and pull up all of the forecasts. But I thought it's something that nobody else does. And so we've incorporated that into our events segment on Saturday morning's show, which is Good Morning Multiverse, which is our weekly headlines show. And it's all the week's news. And so I was thinking, well, it's Good Morning America type of thing, and they've got weather. So we've had the weather forecast as part of our programming for quite a while. And then on our site, on the .com, you go over to sci-fi.com and you click on the conventions tab. There's an alphabetical list of every single Comic-Con, Horror Con, Cosplay Con, Anime Con, Furry Con, any kind of convention that we know of. And there's over 2,500 of them worldwide, and it's on that list. And then we have a weather widget there. So if we miss your town, you can still click on that widget and do a search, and you can check it out. But I think it's a little added little bonus thing for people. Yeah.
So that's great.
It's an all-in-one site stop for anything comics, multiverse, all that stuff. I really like what you got going on there.
Well, thank you. Yeah, right now we've got 4 programs in production. Keith, you're talking about, the workload. I've got right now 4 shows in active production. One of them is 3 days a week. One of them is Monday night. One of them is Tuesday night. And then we got the one on Saturday. And then I've got 3 that are on standby.
Oh, wow.
So, coming in January, though, at least 2 of those are going to be coming back pretty soon. And then I got 3 more that I got to develop and get back into the rotation. So at one point we were doing 7 at a time.
Oh my God.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah. So do you have something every day? You have something every day?
Not every day at the moment. Live from the Bunker is Monday, Wednesday, Friday.
Okay.
We've got H2O podcast on Monday night. We've got Ranker Pit, which is a Star Trek discussion program, on Tuesday night.
Oh, nice.
And then Good Morning Multiverse is Saturday morning. And then from that, we'll pull all of the horror headlines as a separate segment. And then we pull the Star Wars news out. It's called Salacious Crumbs. We set that out as an upload. And then we'll pull the Star Trek one out, and that's Triple Bites.
Okay.
So those go out, and we upload those on Sunday after the main show on Saturday.
I like the little digestible. Is that like what they are? Like little digestible, like chunks
Yeah,
of videos?
it's basically because Salacious Crumbs and Triple Bites started out as their own shows, and they had hosts, and it was on a different schedule. And it got to the point where we were spread really thin with the staff that we've got. So we folded those into the Saturday morning stuff. And then I figured, okay, well, I'll just cut those out and put them as they're still their own show, but now they're they're a segment of the Saturday morning show. We do it live, and then I'll just take that out and put the graphics package around it and upload it as
why not? Like I started doing that with our live streams, because sometimes we get like into a great discussion with a guest, and it's like, how can I just want to take this part and put it as a video, and I started doing that.
Yeah, for Salacious Crumbs, we've done 173 Salacious Crumbs. Triple Bites is at 80. Because we've done on and off, so it hasn't been a regular show for the whole time that we've had it. And then Live from the Bunker on December 30th, we'll have our 500th episode. It started out as an audio show, and then when we flipped to video, we flipped to video at 101.
Okay.
So
do you guys do an audio podcast as well?
I take Bunker, I take H2O and Foreign Bodies, and I take the video and I convert it to an audio and then put that out on the podcast platforms. So those shows are available both as live shows here and on Odyssey, and then we flip them and put them out as podcasts.
So I was thinking of doing that with our stuff too, not to add another thing to my list, but I think some of our like live streams would do really well as like as an audio podcast as well. But who needs the extra work? I mean, which one does better in your opinion? Do you get more hits audio or more video?
No, they're about the same.
Is it about the same? Okay.
We'll get because a lot of times you'll get people that'll listen to the show, and we get people from all over the world listening. We've got listeners from the Philippines and Japan and Australia and France and that sort of thing. And it's kind of hard to tell which show they're listening to because we're on a free hosting platform, so they don't get a whole lot of analytics.
Yeah.
But, we've got various different listeners all over the world, but the numbers are about the same-ish as what we've got over on the video side of things. So it's pretty balanced. Now, I would be fine if there were 2 or 3 more zeros after those numbers.
Right.
But, it's a slow growth. It's like they say in football, it's a building year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right. Yeah. No, I agree. Like we've been doing this, 3 years now, Johnny? Just about.
I'd say, yeah.
And I'd say I agree with that. It is a very slow growth. We're still trying to get to that first 1K. And I think we just hit 720 in subs, which is good.
That's pretty good.
For 3 years, but it's a grind though. I mean,
it is. We started on YouTube just dabbling in, I think, 2012. Okay. And we were doing some different movie reviews. We had a show called Reviews for Humans. And it went fine for a while, and then it kind of fell apart because everybody here is a volunteer. And so it's, as long as you've got time, as long as you've got the interest and you do, and, personal lives come into play and jobs and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
So we kind of went back and forth, and we had several different shows over the years. And then in 2018, we took a break because I just got burned out. We weren't seeing any kind of growth. Nothing was happening right. Okay. And so we took a break, and then we came back in 2019 because 2019 was our 10th anniversary.
Okay.
I was like, well, I guess we have to do something for the 10th anniversary. So we came back for the 10th anniversary, and we hit the ground running with new programs in January of 2019, and we haven't stopped since.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
the growth has been slow, but it's been steady. We're just a handful away from 2,200. But I mean, again, I'd like to have a couple of more zeros after that. But
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
at the same time, we're trying to build our Odyssey channel. We're trying to build our Rumble channel. We're on
Right. So you're trying to.
all these different
Yeah.
social media channels that we're trying to build up to, because who knows what's going to happen with Twitter or YouTube. And
Right.
YouTube keeps changing their algorithm every 6 months, so you never know what's going to happen there. So
Yeah, and that either benefit you or kill you.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
now when you guys came back from hitting the ground running again in 2019, did you find like you had a new love of it? Like, did you find that like you had a more of a passion to come back and redo it?
Not
Or-
really, not really in terms of passion. It
Okay.
was one of those things where how do I put this? I'm stubborn.
Okay.
And I started this site. I started this as a .com back in 2009. That's how old
Okay.
this thing is.
Oh wow.
And
Okay.
it started out the way it usually does. It's a blog in the basement, right? It's just you.
Was
and you're
it
just writing.
always Sci-Fi for me, or has
Yes.
the name changed over the? Okay.
Yeah, no, sci-fi. It's always been sci-fi for me, and where that came from was the result of the Sci-Fi Channel changing their brand.
Oh, I remember that.
Yeah.
That
remember
happened
that.
in February of 2009, and people just blew a gasket. They're like, "Oh, they're doing away with the Sci-Fi. They're going to turn into another USA channel or whatever."
Yep.
And the message boards and the discussions were all like, why can't we just have, now this is back when they were doing cooking shows, they were doing the ghost hunter stuff and the reality shows,
Yeah,
and
right.
wrestling
When it
was
was
still
when it
on
was
there.
when everyone was calling it Scifi,
No,
right?
well,
Yeah,
and that's when they
SYFI.
changed the brand. Yeah, that's when they changed the brand, was February of 2009. And I was on some of these boards. I was like, now remember, this is back before streaming.
Yeah.
Okay. Netflix was still mailing out DVDs.
Yeah.
So that's where we were. And I think Blockbuster had just gone away. So I had this idea because everybody was talking, well, we just need a science fiction channel. And I thought, well, why does it have to be a cable channel? Why can't it be online? Because you had YouTube.
Yeah.
I was like, well, what if there was a science fiction channel on the internet? And there were people like, I'll watch it.
Was
So
that
that was-
also
that's
when
where it started.
webisodes were like a thing? Remember when webisodes took off for a
Webisodes
while?
Yeah,
Around that time,
web
yeah,
series
yeah.
were a thing. Fan films were starting to pick up. So there was that activity there.
Yeah.
And I saw an opportunity, and I was kind of ahead of my time without the resources that I needed to do it right. But the initial concept was you'd have the main .com website,
Okay.
and then you'd have the radio. If you think of the town square, right? And you have the newspaper, and you have the radio station, you have the TV station, you have the library, and you have the community hall. So you'd have all of these different concepts within the Sci-Fi for Me umbrella,
Yeah.
where you'd have TV stuff and you'd have the movie theater. You could show movies, and we looked into licensing stuff so we could show movies on the air and that kind of thing.
Oh,
And you'd
wow.
have the magazine. So there was this huge, big, ambitious idea, and it was me in the corner with the computer, and that was it. And I didn't have the resources or the money to do it, and it didn't really work the way it did. But that's how it started. And then Sci-Fi for Me came out of, well, this is science fiction. This is a sci-fi channel for me, and me is the proxy for everybody who was sitting there saying, I just want a channel that gives me sci-fi.
Yeah.
I don't want wrestling. I don't want a cooking show. I just want sci-fi. And of course, we've expanded, science fiction, fantasy, and horror as part of that because they're all cousins.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
No, that's great. Like, so before you started the channel, what was your back? Are you like a writer? Or are you like, what were you?
I started in college radio
Really?
in
Okay.
1988.
Okay.
I have been in media in some form or fashion for 34 years now. I started college radio. I went from that. I studied mass communications in college. And then I saw Lawrence of Arabia up in the movie theater when they restored it, when Warner Brothers toured the restoration print.
Okay.
I said, that's what I got to do. And so I transferred to the University of North Texas and studied film.
Oh.
And then I dropped out to chase a girl up to Kansas City. And my career never quite went the way I wanted it to. But I've worked in newspaper, I've worked in television, mainly making TV commercials, promos for television stations and that kind of thing. Yeah, long form video, web video, training stuff, and then the audio production part of it. I've made on hold messages. I've done photography, all of the different things that have dabbled. So all of that equipment was already here, and I thought, we've got a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
let's doing that.
It all.
Jason, did you get the girl?
I got the girl, but I paid for it. Well, no. I got the girl. The girl, but it wasn't the girl I should have had.
Oh, I made that mistake too. Believe me.
The girl I got now, perfect.
Oh, nice.
Tops.
Yeah.
That's Mrs. Boss, right?
That's Mrs. Boss. Yes.
Nice,
I have frequently. It was funny when I first met her. We met. Let's see. We got married in 2019. We met in 2015, 16. When did we? 2016, because she dived in right as we were starting our Worldcon coverage.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So the whole time that we're together, I'm telling my mother, well, after a while, I'm telling my mother, like, she's a Proverbs 31 woman. I mean, she's perfect. That she's everything that the Bible says this is what the wife is supposed to be like. I was like, this is weird. And I was like, well, I'm divorced. What do I do here? So, yeah, but we got it all figured out, and she's been great. She dived in right after we met. I showed her all of this stuff. She's like, what is all this?
But
we had Boss. Yeah, we had the World Science Fiction Convention here, the Hugo Awards, Worldcon.
Worldcon is like one of the oldest Comic-Cons, technically, right?
Yeah, it is, and it travels. And in 2016,
Diego,
2016, it was here in Kansas City.
Oh, really? Okay.
And so I reached out to them, and I had met some of them up in Omaha when they were going around doing the bids and saying, we'd like to bring Worldcon to Kansas City. So I met with them, I contacted them, reached out and said, we'd like to broadcast from the event. Now, Worldcon is, like Johnny says, it's one of the oldest conventions. You've got San Diego Comic-Con, the big one there. You've got New York Comic-Con. You've got Dragon Con in Atlanta. Worldcon is the literary convention. This is the stuff that you would find in the hotels back in the day.
Okay.
And, we print our own newsletter and we hand them out and mimeograph them and whatnot. And it's more book related than anything else.
I've heard of
very
it.
literary.
Yeah, I've heard of it.
And the crowd is somewhat older because this is the not quite nose in the air, but a little nose in the air type.
Slightly elitist, but not too, condescending.
But they had absolutely no idea what I was proposing because technology, this is not their thing.
Oh, okay. This
so
is like programming your mother's DVR. Thing.
Exactly. It's the same kind of conversations. They're like, you want to do what?
Yeah, so exactly.
I want to record the dancing show with the stars. How do I do that?
What we ended up doing for Worldcon, and we're the only ones that have ever done it. Now again, this is pre-COVID. This is before all of these Comic-Cons decided that they could do stuff online. Okay. Again, ahead of the curve with no resources.
Awesome.
So we go in there and I said, we want to broadcast from the convention like you would with a political convention or a sporting event. You got the anchors in the booth and you got the reporters down on the field and whatnot. And we set up this 10 by 20 space. We had these cameras and the stuff. We were broadcasting live from Worldcon for 5 days.
Oh, wow.
And they're like, you want to do what? Just let us let us come in and do it.
Yeah,
and so
just
we're in there.
Trust us. Yeah.
And we're broadcasting, and the thing started on a Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday. So we're in there. And we've got everything set up. We got the computers, we got the lights and the cameras, and just this big, this studio affair here, right? And people are walking by and they're looking really confused. I'm like, what's going on over there? What do you this? It took people 3 days out of the 5 to really figure out what we were doing. Okay. We're broadcasting live. We're streaming live. Wait, you guys are live? You guys are on the air right now? And once we started putting it in TV terms, we're broadcasting. We're on TV. We're live right now. Wait, you guys are you're doing this now? People can see this now? It's like, yeah.
Can we see do an interview? The word, hey, we're streaming could confuse an older audience.
See, that wasn't even a word back then.
Is it fishing?
Well, this is back before streaming was even a thing.
Right. Technology wasn't even there yet.
Live. And once they figured it out, you could see the light kind of go ping, and they'd say, "Can we come over and do an interview?" I'm like, "Yeah, we did 53 interviews in 5 days."
Wow!
And most of it was in those 2 days, right?
Just one right after the other. Mindy jumped right in, and she was scheduling. We had a card, we had a chart. You write down what you want to talk about, and we had all of this stuff organized, and we had a schedule. So, all right, come back over here 2:00, and so we'd sit and do the thing. Tim Harvey made Larry Niven late to his own panel. It's like we were interviewing Larry Niven. And he's standing there, and he's just sitting there talking, doing whatever. And his handler is back over there going, "You got a panel! You got a panel!" It was funny. And Tim was like, "I'm not going to tell Larry Niven to shut up."
Yeah, right. Why would you?
He's Larry Niven.
Yeah, he knows better. If he wants to end the interview, he will. That's awesome.
Mindy had a George R.R. Martin encounter. She chased him out of the bathroom.
Oh wow!
And didn't get an interview. She got a photo with him, but she didn't think to invite him over to.
Yeah,
hey, George, you want to come? When are you going to finish that book, George?
Yeah. I had a run-in with him at San Diego Comic-Con. And
did you really, Johnny?
What's that?
I didn't know. You never told me about.
Yeah, I never told you that one, Keith.
No.
So it was the one time I went to like one of the bigger Hollywood parties. Like San Diego, they always have a big Hollywood party like going on, whether it's EW or whatever. And this one was hosted by Humberto Gonzalez from who's currently from the Rap. Okay. So we get in, and there's celebrities everywhere. Rob Liefeld, the Dexter cast, Game of Thrones, and George R.R. Martin was in there. Now, you had to dress up. You had to wear a suit to go to this party. So we were dressed up nice, and I'm a big dude. So as I'm walking through, I'm walking back to the section where my friends were, and they're like shocked. They're like, and I turn around, and then there's George R.R. Martin following me. And he goes, "Oh, is this the room we're in?" And I'm like, "It is now." Sure. He thought I was his bouncer, his bodyguard. So he followed me.
Dude, you should have just played along and just went.
I know. I was drinking too, so I was just like, whatever. You know what I
mean? That's great. Harry asked if RRR laid a dragon egg after that.
No, but there were plenty of phallic shaped trophies all over the place. I tell you.
I'm sure.
That's great.
That was a fun experience. Stop going to Comic-Cons and finish that book series already.
Yeah.
Well, right.
And like I said, this was pre-COVID. This was before all of the streaming stuff. And that was 2016. In 2017, we did the same thing at Planet Comic-Con in Kansas City. We had the big setup and everything. And we got people asking us at that point, is this the new model for you guys? Because we had been out there and we had broadcast from several different conventions by that point. And it got me thinking, this could be the new model. This could be what we end up doing, because Sci-Fi Wire was doing it for Read Pop conventions, but they were only doing a particular stage.
Yeah.
They weren't going through and covering the whole convention like we were. And I thought, this is an opportunity for us. But this is back before anybody understood what this could be. And then, of course, pandemic hit. Everybody gets put under house arrest. and that kind of killed the momentum for everything that we were getting ready to do.
Yeah, and cons still quite haven't recovered yet. Like they're getting there, but not.
And by now they've all figured out, well, hey, we got cameras and we can stream it.
Yeah, let's just Zoom everything now, you know.
Yeah. So you've got all these amateurs that are doing it, and they don't need us.
Yeah. No,
I also
hear you.
feel like culturally, people don't care to see themselves as much on TV anymore. Where before it was like, oh, that's a treat, or like, oh, look, I'm on TV. Now with like the commonality of streaming and social media and going live, people are kind of like, whatever. Some of that gloss is lost, so to speak.
Yeah, it's just part of the zeitgeist now. Everybody does it.
Right.
So, yeah, definitely. Yeah. But it's funny that you were there before it all started, which was good, you know.
Yeah.
And but it's like one of those things, like you're ahead of the curve, but then like you get kind of, you know what I mean? Get
and of course,
aside by society
being ahead of it, nobody really knew anything about what we were doing, so we didn't see any growth out of any of that really. And you know, in 2019, we were at Star Wars Celebration, and we were the only channel that was able to broadcast from inside. Now we didn't have a booth;
wow.
we just had the cell phones, and we were just kind of walking around. But for some reason, I don't know why, we managed to get a signal out from inside McCormick Center.
Oh wow!
Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, he was there, and he couldn't get a signal out from inside. He had to do his stuff from outside, and they were telling him, there are these guys that are inside, go meet them. And so we ended up meeting Jeremy in front of the big giant TIE fighter. And the first day, Thursday, we were the only ones broadcasting because Star Wars, their official YouTube channel, didn't start until Friday.
Oh, wow.
So at one point, we had 7,000 people watching our stream.
Wow.
As we're walking around McCormick Center. It's like, walking around.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
And then Star Wars started broadcasting Friday, and it just the bottom fell out on ours. Yeah. And we got some subscribers off of that. And I was thinking, okay, well, this is the beginning, because we'll pull in some folks from Geeks and Gamers audience, and you know, we'll cross-pollinate and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it's not really materializing. I guess we're not angry enough on everything.
I know, right? Well, same with us either, you know. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tough code to crack as far as like getting subscribers. It's like one of those things. It's just the only thing I know how to do is just do what I'm doing, you know? So, and it's like, I'm hoping through that and consistency that it'll, you know, eventually catch on, you know, but it's a slow thing, you know?
Well, and the other thing that I've heard, and I can't swear to this because, you know, everything changes every 3 to 4 months, but YouTube's algorithm, apparently one time I heard that the algorithm has a preference that you either are all uploads or all live. If you do a mix, it doesn't know what to do with you.
Gotcha.
And now that you've got, see, last year we had to deal with the whole COPPA thing. We had the adpocalypse happen. Now we've got shorts that we've got to deal with.
Yeah,
YouTube
that's
keeps
supposedly the
everything.
Thing now, right? Shorts is like the thing they're focusing on.
So you're right. The smartest thing to do, at least in my view, we just stay the course. We just keep doing what we're doing. I'm not going to get into shorts because 6 months from now they're going to want us to do something else.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I agree.
I don't want to keep changing the model.
And I don't mind doing a short, but it's only when it's like something that comes to mind, or like I tend to, I've done a few for the channel, but it's only like if I'm at a convention and I was like, hey, let's put a short together. Or
I feel like shorts, they kind of have a short lifespan too, because I mean you had Vine, you had Snapchat,
they're trying to get your.
I mean, nothing really sticks. Nothing stays in his life.
YouTube is trying to capitalize on TikTok
and then like that short attention, attention viewer. You know,
if the government does what some people want it to do and they ban TikTok from the U.S. because of the Chinese connection, because you know there is that suspicion that the Chinese Communist Party and the government of China has access to all of the data from everybody that uses TikTok.
But didn't they force China to sell the U.S. division to Oracle?
I don't know if that ever went through.
Oh, okay.
I can't remember.
I heard about
that
so
up.
I don't know. Yeah,
there was chatter about that, but there was some other stuff that fell through because, well, it's Trump, and if Trump is doing it, then it's got to be bad, and so we can't let it happen, and that kind of thing. So there was all that mess. But in 6 months, you're going to have whatever Twitter ends up being. It's going to be a huge success, let's say, and then YouTube's going to look at that and say, well, we need to do what they're doing.
Yeah,
YouTube's not an innovator anymore. YouTube is an imitator. Yeah. YouTube looks at whatever is the hot thing and say, well, let's do that.
Yeah, like Harry says, it's TikTok is today's Furby.
Right.
Yeah. In basic terms.
And YouTube is the Cabbage Patch doll.
Yes. And what do you say? North Free said shorts have a short lifespan but can get big hits, maybe because short attention span generation. Yeah, that's exactly it. Like the few shorts I've done have gotten more views than most of my videos have. It's crazy.
that's because the algorithm
pushes them up,
puts the weight on the shorts. So as you're doing shorts, because that's the thing that YouTube wants you doing. And so one of the things that we found out was that when you're doing shorts, YouTube, you would think that if you do the short, somebody watches your short and they like what you do, then they'll go over to your channel and they'll watch the longer stuff. Right? YouTube disconnected inside the algorithm, disconnected the recommendation feature. So if I'm watching your short and your short is done, none of your longer stuff pops up in the recommended feed afterwards because YouTube disconnected the two.
Right, because they want the person to just go to the next short in the feed, right?
And so it doesn't help. It didn't have a turn. Now they've reconnected it, they say, but you've got that whole thing where it doesn't really do very much to benefit your channel in terms of growth. It's just, let's watch this. So short term, you get a lot of hits, but I don't know what it means, what it does for the overall channel,
right?
Because the only thing that I can think of using for shorts is, hey, coming up on the next, bunker, Cameron Pasha is going to be here on Wednesday. Join us. We're going to have open line Friday on Friday, and doing promos like that because you can only do 60 seconds or less.
Right. Yeah, and I agree with you. Like I don't see the benefit of it yet, and I don't know if there ever will be one.
I don't see there is. Plus, there's all the work.
Yeah.
That's just one more thing you got to do. Whether you're cutting it out of another video and just putting a clip out, because you still got to do, because it's vertical, which means now you got to convert format and layout. You got to do something to doctor it
phone. Yeah, exactly.
And graphics and whatnot. So, if you're cutting video out, you still got to do that work. Or if you're doing something original, you got to do that work. So it's just one more extra thing, and I don't see any long-term benefit for it.
The only shorts I honestly kind of find myself gravitating towards are the instructional ones, like, oh, this is how you make the best banana bread, or this is how you change the headlight of your vehicle. Things that works because people don't want to watch a 15-minute video about how to change a headlight. But if you can give me the steps real quickly in like a minute, awesome,
Yeah, no, that's smart. Like you're doing that kind of thing.
Right.
But and I see Jason's point on it. After you watch that, you're not going back to the channel. You're not,
right.
You're not
it's one and done. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. You're logging off and you're going to do that thing.
Right.
So, shorts I think to me are just, if I'm at a convention and I want to film something real quick and upload it. That's what I would use a short for.
Like how to talk to your wristband?
Yeah, it's a great one. But also like something you don't need a cover, like you don't have to put a thumbnail together. Like just here's a quick, hey, look at my table at this convention, upload it. It's almost like the Facebook Live quick thing, That's what I view it as. It doesn't help you, but it helps a promotion in a little way,
And we've got 30-second promos for our various shows, and we run those inside each other's shows. So, Live from the Bunker, I'll run a 30-second spot for H2O, and Good Morning Multiverse, I run a 30-second spot for Ranker Pit, that kind of thing. So you could probably do something like that with shorts, but you can't upload the same one over and over and over and over and over again.
Right.
What's the point of that? So
right. Yeah,
you still got to be making new stuff then. So yeah. I just don't see the point.
Yeah, it's like if you got to choose between the short and making the video, it's like just make the video.
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, exactly. At least you can monetize that later or whatever.
And with notifications being as limited as they are, I mean, your subscribers only get 3 notifications per day unless they've changed it. So you upload a short, there's a notification that's been burned out.
Gotcha. Are you seeing growth on the other platforms at all, Jason? Like Rumble and what was the other one you mentioned?
Odyssey? We're on Odyssey and we're on Rumble. Gotcha. And let's see here on Odyssey, what did I do with it?
I haven't heard of either of these platforms.
Yeah, they're like another video platform.
Odyssey came out of Library, and it's on a blockchain system where you make a claim for a video. If you upload a video, you do live video, then it's attached to a blockchain, and there's some crypto attached to it and some different things there. And then we've got Rumble, which is also kind of along those same lines. Now, Rumble is now connected with Locals. Because I think Rumble is the one that Dan Bongino was involved in to start with, but Dave Rubin and Locals is now partnered with Rumble, and so we're not doing anything live there yet because you have to pay for that tier. But Rumble, we've got all of our YouTube stuff just ports over. So and then we've got a Twitch channel, but we haven't done very much with it yet.
Yeah, we were live streaming the Twitch, but I kind of ended that because I didn't see much from it. We did it for a couple months, and
the problem with Twitch is that they require exclusivity for the first 24 hours of your stream. And it's something I don't think anybody knows. And I've tried to get Michael Bancroft to understand this because Bancroft is going to everywhere. I was like, you guys, because I actually reached out to Twitch and I said, hey, I'm hearing this. Is this true? And they said, yes. Everything in the terms of service, if you broadcast to Twitch a live stream, they want it exclusively for the first 24 hours, and then you can put it anywhere else you want to put it.
Gotcha.
So for us, that cuts out simulcast. So we're not streaming to Twitch anymore, I guess.
So that makes sense on why we weren't getting any kind of traction there.
Yeah. Plus you got to have.
Plus, it's video games too. Yeah, exactly. It's video games, and I mean, every once in a while, someone would pop in from Twitch, but very little. Was
we're gonna do an OnlyFans next.
As a next step. Well, the thing I'm wondering too, now, with Twitter, Elon's talking about making a video component there, so that could be interesting. That could be another game changer. And I guess we'll have to see, and monetizing, right?
I saw today somebody posted he's looking at for people who are on, was it Twitter Blue or Twitter Live, whatever the paid thing is.
The paid thing is,
being able to upload up to 2 hours of video.
Okay.
So
once a week or just
I don't know. I didn't see it, but there was that, and there was one other thing. And I don't think it was live because you could do the live thing. He's talked about bringing Periscope back.
Okay.
And I've seen other big Chrissy Mayer broadcast live to Twitter, and I'm not sure how she's doing that. But you can do that kind of thing. I mean, you can broadcast to Locals live. You can broadcast to LinkedIn live. There's various different channels that'll allow for a live stream component of some sort. So, people are starting to get the idea that it doesn't necessarily have to be always YouTube.
Okay.
And a lot of these guys are now doing these things where they'll stream to multiple platforms like YouTube, Odyssey, Rumble, and then after a certain amount of time, they'll cut the YouTube off because YouTube censors things. So they'll stop streaming to YouTube and they'll keep going on Odyssey and Rumble. And now it's uncensored. We can say whatever we want. So, it's various different things that people are trying to see what kind of growth strategies will actually stick. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with Twitter because, monetization and video will be the thing. But I think Elon is working toward whatever it is he's got in mind for this X platform that he's been talking about for years.
Yeah.
So this is just the beginning of it.
Right. It'd be interesting to see how that platform shapes up, I
wouldn't be surprised if he adds a component to it like Substack.
Oh yeah.
That'd be interesting.
Where you have a subscription kind of service kind of thing or
let me write an article. Yeah, exactly. I would see him doing something like that too.
Yeah, why not? And, and he can kind of get a little bit of money from that, and then a little bit of money from people having to be blue to do that, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I think so I never gave two shits about the blue check mark. So, but the having a video kind of component, I think I would be interested in possibly doing something there. If that's
the paid tier, you could also edit your tweets.
That's what I was just going to say. I actually tried it out to be able to edit tweets, and you have up to a half hour to be able to edit a tweet. Wow. And there's so many times where put
in a typo.
I'll write up a tweet. It'll be too long.
Yeah.
I have to go in and edit it, and then as I reread it, I overlook that. Oh, contextually, it doesn't sound right.
Right. Yeah.
And then I'm like, crap, I just put that out there and I spent like 20 minutes putting it together,
Yeah, and then you gotta cut and paste, delete the tweet, redo it. Yeah,
it's
a whole thing.
Right.
Yeah. And it's perfectly fine. And you get it out there, you find a mistake. It's okay. I've gotten to the point where I can delete it and put a new one out as long as that other one doesn't get retweeted. If somebody has shared it, I'm hesitant to delete it because now something's broken and people aren't going to find whatever it is that I'm supposed to get out there. So
you just have to live with that mistake,
Yeah.
It happens,
That's life.
Yeah. Or if you're
that's why I read my tweets 4 or 5 times. Okay. 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 There it is. Everything's spelled right. Go.
Yep. I got to get in the habit of that. Sometimes I'm doing it when I'm tired.
I need to hire an editor.
Man, I could do so much more if I had 5 clones.
Right.
I know, right?
Right?
Isn't that the way?
Same. I want to be what is that? Multiplicity, the Michael Keaton thing.
Yeah, I need 7 Michael Keatons.
Well, I wear so many hats here. It's not even funny because I'm IT, I'm SEO, I'm sales, I'm editor, I'm production manager, I'm producer, I'm host, I'm writer. I mean, it's all these different things.
It's full time for you, Jason, right?
It is.
Wow.
I'm up about 8 a.m. and I'm in bed by 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, and
Wow.
it's almost constant. If I'm not doing day job stuff, then I'm here doing this.
Oh,
okay, gotcha. But you have another job as well.
Do I? Yeah, my day job is in media production, so I go out and Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, tomorrow I've got to go shoot video for a client. I do some stuff for the networks with the sports, ESPN, Fox, and that kind of thing for local crew that comes in and augments what the network brings in. Cool. So I stay busy with stuff like that, but it's sporadic. It's random. It's like, hey, can you go set up these computers at this convention this weekend? Yeah, okay, go. Do that.
Yeah.
So it's not a consistent thing as far as work goes, but that lets me have the flexibility that I need to come in and do all of this. And this is the most consistent thing that I do out of everything. Now, if we were making money, it'd be even better. But I did just make $4 off of Odyssey, so it's coming.
Hey, it goes back into the business, right? And then eventually you'll be paying for it, hopefully. Paying for the StreamYard every year.
I would love to pay my people. I mean, I really would, because they put in their time, they've got talent, they've got, they could be doing anything else.
Yeah.
And they do this. And I would love to pay them. That's my ultimate goal.
That you gotta have to have passion for it to do it, though, right? I mean, that's really
It's like comics, you know.
It
like,
helps to get paid, though.
It
sure
does.
does.
How
Sure
many
does.
people do you have that contribute to Sci-Fi from me?
Right now, 6.
6. That's pretty good.
Yeah, I could use probably 3 more.
Yeah, and to make it run sufficiently, and
yeah,
well,
because we're getting ready. We're getting ready to bring back our gaming news program.
Oh.
I would like to bring back my comics news program, because it's got such a clever title, Comic Con Carne, and I want to bring that back. We've got a Doctor Who discussion program I'd like to bring back. It's called TARDIS Sauce.
That's great.
So, there's different shows that I want to
great,
bring
man.
finding people. Yeah. Well, it's just, Salacious Crumbs is our Star Wars show. Triple Bites is our Star Trek show. We've got a Star Trek discussion panel show called Deep Space Mines. That's also on hiatus. So, it's like, I'd really like to bring all of these shows back, but I just don't have enough people.
Right.
You must be.
And we're running into the same kind of problem you were running into, Keith, talking about when all of our shows are on, everybody else's show is on. I mean,
right.
my Live from the Bunker is on against Carrie Smith and Midnight's Edge. Monday night we're up against Toxic Femininity. It's like everybody's on. It's hard. You just got to do your show when you do your show.
Yeah,
and
that's a thing.
I look at our analytics. And, you look in the audience tab and it says, well, the people that watch your channel are on at these times. I was like, okay, well, that's when I'm doing my show.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea. I should look at that and see what people that watch it. Although our audience seems to show up most, if we do a Tuesday, they'll be there too. But there's nights, though, that hit different. We'll get a bunch of people, and other nights we get nothing. It's weird. So
yeah.
We'll always have Harry. We'll always have Ara. I mean,
we have Roland. We have North.
Yeah, Roland too.
Adam,
but like here,
Adam
you go into
Warlock.
analytics for audience. You see all of the brighter times. These are the hours when our audience is most on the air.
Gotcha.
So we're looking at this and we're like, okay, a lot of times these bright spots are in between 12 and 2. So Live from the Bunker at noon. So, is when we go. So, I've tried to put a little science behind it, a little market analysis, which, 34 years has got to count for something. I guess I better use it.
So one thing I was going to mention when you were sharing like the titles and the puns and everything, I was going to say, are you a big Lauren Brashad that does Bob's Burgers and Great North? Like that show seems to be nothing but puns,
Not really so much those. I'm a big fan of Spider Robinson. Spider Robinson does a lot of that. If you read any of his Callahan's books, Callahan's Cross Time Saloon. His wife did an anthology, Lady Slings the Booze. So those are good anthology short stories and lots of puns.
Yeah.
Lots of very bad puns that are brilliant. So I Spider Robinson is one of the best. And Heinlein's got some stuff. I'm more old school.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you more of like are you pretty much mostly sci-fi fan, or are you like a little bit?
Yeah, I'm not really big on horror. I've read some fantasy, but mostly science fiction.
Gotcha.
Is my bailiwick. I mean, everybody here has got some different niches that they're.
Well, you're wearing a Starlog shirt. Am I?
Yeah, I know, that's great.
Yeah, and I've even got some still over there in the spinner rack. I grew up on Starlog.
Oh yeah, I can see that. That's great.
And actually, have it. Anybody goes over to the sci-fi4me.com site. I've got interviews. When was it? 2019. I did them. They were, it was basically, I did a whole month of tribute to Starlog. I interviewed a number of different people who had worked at the magazine.
Oh,
because
cool.
April of 2019 was 10 years after the magazine shut down.
Oh wow!
So we did a big retrospective that year of all these things. We talked to Dave McDonald, who was the managing editor. I talked to Kerry O'Quinn, who was the founder of Starlog. That interview is on the YouTube channel.
I know Kerry. He's a very fun-loving guy.
Yeah, he's a nice guy. He's a nice guy. So yeah, we've got all of those
for everyone to go over there and subscribe. Check out Sci-Fi for me. Where do you know him from, Johnny? Did you just meet him at like San Diego? And
so that was the crazy thing about Kerry O'Quinn. I was leaving. Actually, it was that same night, the same party I went to. As we're leaving, there was this really exuberant fellow who was kind of just walking along the street, and their group kind of was walking alongside ours as we're walking, and he goes, "Hey everybody, we're all going for pizza." And he turns to us and goes, "You guys are too." I'm like, "Okay." And we all went for pizza with Kerry O'Quinn and his gang.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
I think he also worked on Famous Monsters, maybe.
There were three or four magazines that were done out of the Starlog group. Fangoria was one.
Fangoria, that's what it was. Yeah.
I had drinks with the guy that runs was the publisher Fangoria, Tony Timpone.
Tony Timpone, yeah. And Tony got his start at Starlog.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, we interviewed Tony for the Starlog retrospective. Tony is still working at Fangoria now.
That's good.
The new current Fangoria, and one owner back, I was having some conversations when Dallas Sonye, who is the guy who's producing Gina Carano's movie, and the doing the stuff with Bonfire Legend.
Okay.
He used to own the Starlog group. They bought it from the guy that nobody will say his name because he ruined everything. And so when they bought the Starlog group, they brought back Fangoria as a quarterly print magazine.
Yeah, I get the newsletter from them because I'm a big horror guy.
Yeah, and I was talking to him. I was okay. You're bringing back Fangoria. The natural question is going to be: is Starlog next?
Yeah.
Are you gonna bring back Starlog? And it's like, well, him and Han. And I finally got them to admit that at some point they were thinking maybe they would do something online.
Okay.
But that's never come into fruition. And then they sold it. Tara Inslee, I think, owns it now. So I haven't had any conversations with her yet. So I don't know if there's any plan to bring Starlog back or not. But since we grew up on Starlog, one of the things that we've been thinking about with all of this proliferation of all these Indiegogo crowdfunding projects and all of these these indie comic books, there's not that many indie magazines.
Right.
You've got Cersova, you've got Rocket, which is just doing, they're about to do issue number 2. There's not that many of them. And I thought, well, why don't we could do a print edition of what we do everywhere else, and it would be our Starlog.
Yeah.
So we've been thinking about doing something like that, where we do a 60-page magazine in the tradition of Starlog.
Yeah, why not?
But we haven't managed to pull.
That's where you need the extra 3 people to kind of put that together.
Right? I recall buying Cinescape pretty regularly. I don't know if you remember that one.
Yep, Cinescape.
They also had a comic one, right? Was it Comic Scene?
Comic Scene, and actually Bob Greenberger ended up running Comic Scene. He started at Starlog. He went to Comic Scene, then he ended up over at DC Comics, and now he's part of Crazy 8 Press.
Okay.
And there so many of those guys ended up doing various different things. I mean, Ian Spelling ran the Star Trek website for a while, StarTrek.com. He was doing publicity for Eagle Moss.
Oh wow!
Until Eagle Moss shut down. So yeah, all these people have been doing this stuff. Mike Gingold is still, I think, consulting with Fangoria. You get Tony Timpone that's still over at Fangoria. David McDonald is pretty much retired at this point. Lee Goldberg has a couple of comic book shops in California. And he's still kind of sort of connected into the film world a little bit. but he mostly he does his comic book shops. So yeah, it's interesting to see the trajectory of all these guys,
that they're still kind of involved and doing a little bit, I love that.
I personally would love to bring back Starlog, like officially bring back Starlog,
like have the brand. Yeah, that'd be great.
Sell me the license, right?
Yeah,
just let me do it. But we don't really have the resources to do it like that.
Well, it's tough because you'd have to make a certain amount of money just to pay for that license too. And that's a tough thing to try and do a magazine in this day and age,
Yeah,
and that's why that name carries a lot of weight, though. You know what I mean?
It does. You would be paying for something that actually would have some kind.
But you'd also have the pressure of delivering the goods.
Right. That's true.
You guys are doing Starlog.
Yeah, right. You'd have to go back to those old magazines and make sure you're doing every little, segment that they used to do in those.
I took a copy to the printer, so I'm trying to start getting quotes for how much would it cost to print something like this, and I took a copy in. I said, I want to do something like this. Here's the magazine. Here's Starlog magazine. I want to do something like this, and she flips through it. She says, We you don't want to make it look vintage, do you? No, she's like, because we can't do that. I was like, no, it doesn't have to look vintage, but it's got to be this kind of thing. I was like, it's not that old, lady. So
was it pricey?
I haven't got a quote back yet.
Oh, you haven't? Okay.
I don't think they took me serious because it was like 3 weeks ago and I still haven't heard. So I'm gonna look someplace else.
Yeah, no, but good luck with that. I hope. I think you're right. I think you could do something like that. Maybe cool. Even if you did it once a year, like with the resources, or twice a year,
Yeah. Well, I think quarterly is a good schedule if we can manage to put the material together. Yeah.
Right, but that's like adding that little pressure to you, that on top of everything else.
If you have outside contributors to do essays, like guests to contribute, you have your core people that'll do the anchor articles, and then somebody does an interview and you can print the interview. And if you get somebody who can do, you maybe you do a solicitation for a short story. I have an idea that I would love to get Louise Simonson to write me a short story and have Walt Simonson illustrate it.
Oh, that'd be awesome. That'd be cool. That'd be an achievement if you can make that happen.
Yeah, I mean, stuff like that. And then our people would do stuff.
Maybe if you could get like the people that are making content for you to like put their own videos together, upload them, so you wouldn't have that responsibility, and that could free you up to do other things like for the magazine. Yeah, I know. It's like wrangling.
We're still thinking, but
yeah, exactly. I know it's like a lot of wrangling there.
Yeah,
and you're gonna hope for the best, But yeah, no, I love what you're doing, Jason. I think it's a great great genre. Like sci-fi is awesome. Like when I used to work at the comic store, we had so many sci-fi fans that come in that would just go for like the Doctor Who magazines and the, like those kind of stuff. And I would just talk to them for a little bit, and they're just passionate fans, So I think having this kind of a channel for them, I think, is a great idea.
Yeah.
Obviously, we all have the challenges of getting people to look at the stuff we do.
Right.
And I don't know how to crack that code, but I think consistency, as long as you keep doing it, and that.
And my thinking has been, the way I've approached it, this is a TV network of sorts. Basically, it's not a YouTube channel, because I don't want to minimize it in my head that this is just a hobby. This is just a YouTube channel. It's not important.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas we take it seriously. This is a TV channel that happens to be on YouTube.
Yeah.
And so the production value, and people have talked about this all the time, because my experience and all of the time that I have in production, the production value of what we do is so much higher than what most everybody else has, simply because that's what I do.
Yeah.
And so we're a little bit, I don't want to say a little bit more polished, a little more professional. I don't want to say too professional because I don't want to sound like I'm putting down any of the other channels because they're all doing great work.
No, but you're trying to hit a standard.
We're a little bit more sophisticated.
Right. You're trying to hit a standard like a television production. And I think it's very valid now that you think I think of my show as a TV, channel as well with Johnny I think of us as like an interview show.
I'm his Ed McMahon.
Yeah, exactly. And but also YouTube is on TVs now. That's how I watch most of my YouTube stuff is I go right to the app on my TV or on my Xbox and I watch it there. So I think that is to act like a television production. I think is totally on point. I'd be actually interested to see how many people do watch us either live on TV or how they watch us through Facebook or for I'd be interested to find that out some
of that stuff is in your analytics. I don't think if people are streaming it to their television over their computer, I don't think you get that data.
Right, but if they're using an app or something, they would show it.
I think so. I mean, we've talked for a while about setting up a Roku channel. I think that would be kind of cool, but we're not 24 hours or 12 solid hours. We don't have enough programming to do a full day type of thing.
Gotcha.
So we're not quite there, but Pops Van Zandt is talking about, and some other, I'm starting to see some other channels that are starting to cooperate and pull a bunch of different shows and different channels together and broadcast to each other.
Like a network. Yeah. That's smart.
Because I've seen Chuck Dixon's stuff over on Critical Blast channel. Pops has had some stuff over on his channel. He's talking about getting a bunch of different channels together to put all of their programs together to do a Roku channel. So, I mean, there's growth and there's networking and, all of these people are starting to talk to each other, which is good.
Smart, because it's all similar content. So
I wonder if you can license obscure, cheap sci-fi animes to run in between during your off hours.
We looked at doing that. There's a company called Desert Island Films that licenses. You could go back to the libraries of public domain films mainly, and we looked at that. And to get the number of films that we wanted to get, and basically you're just paying for making the copy, right?
Right, okay. Right.
It would have cost us $1,500 for I think 500 films, 100 films. I don't remember. I have to go back and look, but it was a pretty high ticket.
Oh wow! Okay.
But you get the license for things like, The Last Woman on Earth. I mean, B and C list stuff, things that were really obscure, right? And you could do like a B movie night. Kind of like what Joe Bob Briggs does.
Yeah.
You could do that kind of thing. It's drive-in theater. Here's our movie for the night, and here's the thing.
Attack of the Killer Tomatoes.
Exactly. Yeah, but we need the money.
Yeah, right. That's the problem.
And again, that's what it goes back to. I keep telling Mindy, we've got three things that we need. We need time, we need manpower, we need money, and money will take care of the other two.
Yep. Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, that's true. Well, gentlemen, we've been going almost 90 minutes, which is crazy. Like, we start talking. It's nuts. I know. No, it was great. It was a great conversation, though. I think, and it's also people that maybe are watching that might have their own YouTube channel that might get some info out of it. I'm going to share out the link to Sci-Fi for Me again here as well. So if you guys out there are not subscribed to Sci-Fi for Me TV, definitely go over to the channel and hit subscribe and
there's all the different places. There's all the different places where you can find us.
Yes, that's perfect. Anything else you want to promote, Jason, besides the channel that you wanted to mention?
Yeah, I mean, we've got Open Line Friday coming up on Friday. And then Saturday morning, we've got Good Morning Multiverse, which is our news program.
Yeah.
And it's all the headlines for the week. And it's going to be a packed show this week because we took last weekend off. So we've got
so you get
2 weeks
double.
worth of headlines.
Yeah.
It's going to be
Lots to catch up on.
That's awesome.
2.5-hour show. It's going to be crazy.
Awesome.
But yeah, it's just the thing. Cameron Pasha was on Live from the Bunker today. We were talking about the FTX stuff with a number of people on the panel. He was a guest on H2O last week. We talked about the Bob Iger stuff all last week.
Okay.
So, lots of different things that we're doing, but we're consistent. And I think this is one thing that I think works best for a lot of these channels, especially given the fact that YouTube doesn't do notifications all the time consistently. If you stay on a schedule,
okay,
we do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. Eastern all the time. And we do Monday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. So even if you don't get a notification, if you've been around for a while, you know when our shows go.
Right.
So we try to stay, and we're a TV station. TV stations have schedules.
Yeah.
So that kind of helps as well, and making sure that we have our shows on at a regular time so people know when to find us.
Yeah, that makes sense. Awesome. Johnny, how about you? Anything you want to add before we close out this episode?
Yeah, I just want to run down the 3 campaigns I'm currently backing right now on Kickstarter.
Gotcha.
This is in relation to the deadline. So first up, we have from Jonathan Thompson, who recently ran the campaign All In, has a book called The Counterfeit. Looks real cool. It's out there on Kickstarter. It is done on the 2nd. So that's going up soon. Check that out. Digital's only $8. Not a bad deal. We also have the watercolor caddy from our friend Griffin S.
Okay.
He is revolutionizing the watercolor caddy, essentially, the way you can use watercolor and make it portable and have like a little watercolor station at your desk. Well, Griffin revolutionized that, and it's on Kickstarter right now. It's it's about just over 6,500 already hit. So, you'll get it for sure. Only 9 days left to go on that. And last but not least, from Source Point Press, you have Arn Anderson, My Life as an Enforcer, the same crew that brought you the Tony Schiavone comic book.
Cool.
They're giving you the Arn Anderson biopic, the bio book.
Awesome. Very cool. Awesome.
And I just want to thank Jason for coming on, taking the time, sharing a little bit of sci-fi for me with us.
Yeah, definitely.
Happy to do it. Glad to be here. Anytime you want me back, I'll jump in.
Yeah, definitely.
Absolutely.
That's awesome. And I also want to thank you for being on the show, Jason, and then also check out Mighty Mascots, still live on Indiegogo. And all right, everybody. Well, thank you for joining us as always. Now we are back on our regular rotation, so we'll be back in 2 weeks with another interview. I'll also have
2
videos.
episodes left in the year.
Yeah, and then we're moving to Tuesday, so keep that in mind.
So check out the last 2 Wednesday episodes.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, that reminds me. December 30th is our 500th Live from the Bunker.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Congrats,
like an
man.
anniversary issue.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, well, check that out, everybody. Have a great week and read some comics. All right, everybody. We'll talk to you later. All right.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.